Hey guys, thank you so much for signing up. Before I leave you in the capable hands of Callum, please make sure you subscribe and remember every single penny raised goes directly to supporting mental health counselling and services. So please keep fundraising and we'll see you there on the night.
Hey guys, Callum Fields here from the Linkin tribute band. I'm now going to show you some bits on the keys for In the End. So we're going to split this part into two. We're going to first of all focus on the actual piano bit, the famous bit that probably everyone knows and everyone recognises as one of Linkin Park's biggest songs. And then we're going to actually look at the strings that you kind of hear in the backing track. Now, before we start, it's worth mentioning that Linkin Park themselves don't play these bits live. This is something that's normally played by Mr. Han on the samples or on the backing track. But we're going to go through those bits so you guys can all play along in this fantastic performance. So, starting with the piano bit. So the piano bit that we all know is nice and easy. So we're just going to use our right hand for this bit. And it's all in E flat minor, so which is, you know, this scale. So, all we do, first of all, nice and slow, we start on E flat, going up to B flat. These are all crotchet notes as well, so they're all on the beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes E flat, B flat, B flat, G flat, and then two Fs, F, F, and then a third F. And this is when we do an eighth note. So we go F then G flat. And that's the whole expression. So I'll play it really slowly, just so you can kind of see it. Now, in terms of the pedal, if you have one, I tend not to overuse it because it sounds a little bit messy. So ideally, if you're going to use the pedal, just compress the sustain pedal for probably the first sort of, it sounds quite nice for that bit, but make sure you lift off when you go, because otherwise you get this horrible clash here. Just play legato, so play into the note. So we'll do it now with the metronome. So now that piano bit appears sort of 4 times in the song. So it appears first of all at the intro, where you do it 4 times around just before it sort of begins. And then it appears in both verses in the second half, where it's just for the last 8 bars. So you do it for 4 times again. And then it also appears at the outro as well. Now, in the outro, there is also another piano bit where the whole thing kind of slows down. So still following that riff. And at that bit, I do leave it to clash. And then you do this little run here, which is just E flat, G flat, B flat, and then E flat, F, G flat, F. And so kind of arpeggiate it. Right, we're now going to look at the strings that you hear in the song as well. Again, these are not played live on the keys normally, but so everyone can stay involved and so we can make the sound big, I'm going to teach you the strings you hear in the track. Now, for the intro, while the piano bit's playing, you just hear these very simple strings. So first of all, if you use your left hand, it goes E flat, and then an octave on E flat, below middle C, and then you go down to D flat, but then with the right hand add the F on, so add the third above for the chord, and then you do the same with the B, so B and then E flat above. So if we just do that with the metronome. Right, so I'm going to take you through the first verse now, and it's worth saying as well, the first verse and second verse are exactly the same. So all we do is, starting with the left hand, the left hand literally does the same thing throughout, where it just does the bass notes of the chord. So they are E flat, D flat, B, and D flat. So all 4 beats per one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the right hand does join in, but only a bit later. So it joins in on the 8th bar, where it starts doing the 5th above. So on the 8th bar, when you come back up to D flat, you play an A flat and do an A flat octave as well. And then it follows that pattern throughout the second half of the verse. Keep following that pattern. So always doing the 5th above. So it's the 5th above the chords are B flat, A flat, G flat, and A flat. Now, it follows that pattern until the very last note, where it just does an octave, where it just joins on the D flat. So what I'll do, I'll play the whole verse to the metronome now, so you can hear it in context. And that's both verses. So we'll go through the strings on the chorus now, and the chorus again, it's dead easy. All we're doing is the bass note, an octave of the bass note in the left hand, and the 5th above, also an octave in the right hand. And again, these follow exactly the same chords as the guitar and the bass. So starting with E flat, all 4 beats per bar to start off with. So E flat in the left, and B flat in the right. And then G flat in the left and D flat in the right. And then D flat in the left and A flat on the right. And then going down to the B and the G flat. And this time do it for 2 beats. So you go 1, 2. And then just as you come back up, you do, so you do B and then D flat and on the left, and G flat and A flat on the right. So let's play that all the way through. And that is the chorus chords. Now, going on to the second chorus. The second chorus is identical to the first, apart from it has an extra bar at the end. And all you do for that extra bar is just hold down that one note. Let me go back to the strings. It's just hold down that B, which is the last chord being the B and the G flat, and you don't do the do the progression upwards this time. So that's all you do for the end. And then that leads us into the bridge. So I'll just play that all the way through just so you can hear it in context. And again. And then you're into the bridge. Right, so I'm just going to very quickly explain the bridge section. The bridge section is nice and easy. For the very first part, it's absolutely identical to the intro. So that's those chords we played earlier with the E octave. And then D flat, then F on the right hand. And then B flat, then E flat on the right hand. and then D flat, then F. So exactly the same, except on the very last bar, instead of holding that third, we just let that D flat ring. So all together it's. And then just holding the D flat. And sorry, you don't do the octave, you just do the lower down. So just a lower D flat at the end, and then that's when it jumps into the big bridge. The second part of the bridge of In the End is dead easy. All we're doing is doing the same chords as the chorus, but we're not doing the right hand. So just to very quickly show you, it's E flat, G flat, D flat, and then down to the B. And then on the chorus, we normally go B, D flat, but you just hold that B this time. So all the way through. And that is the end of the bridge. And then for the very last bit of the song, we just go back into the chorus, which are those chords that we already know. Just those chords we already know twice round, and then finishing off with literally exactly the same as the intro. Just over the piano bit. And then at the end, just end, as the piano just starts to slow down, just end with a low E flat. And they're all of the key parts to In the End. I hope you enjoy them.
Thank you for watching the tutorial. Please make sure you remember to learn this exact version so that everyone's playing the same thing on the night. Keep fundraising, subscribe, and we'll see you there on the night.